Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. For today's main event, in the red corner, we have the Turbo Levo SL weighing in at 17.4 kilos. And in the blue corner, we have the Orbea Rise weighing in at just over 19 kilos. I'm going to put these two bikes head to head in the super light e-bike category. I'm going to see which comes out the champion. So let's get ready to rumble! Time to weigh it. $17.5. $19.4 kilograms. So that's 1 point to the Turbo Levo SL. The bikes I got to test ride are the Specialized Turbo Levo SL Expert Carbon and the Orbea Rise M Team. Both are super light bikes with carbon frames, so we'll call that round a draw and give 1 point apiece. Let's talk about travel. The Turbo Levo SL has 150mm travel on the rear, whereas the Orbea Rise comes with just 140mm. And for me and the type of riding that I like to do, the Orbea seemed a bit limited. This is probably the biggest drawback of the Rise, and I would have loved it if Orbea had made this bike with a 150mm option. So that's a well-earned point to the Turbo Levo SL. The forks on the Turbo Levo SL are 150mm Fox 34 float performance, and on the Orbea you have a 150mm Fox 36 float factory with Kashima coating, which is a great fork. If I bought the Turbo Levo SL, the first thing I would change would be the forks, as I found that the Fox 34 wasn't as stiff or plush as the 36. I'd love to try either of these bikes with a 160mm up front, as I found the 150 found the limits of its travel pretty quickly. So that's a point to the Orbea Rise. The Turbo Levo SL comes with a Fox Float DPS performance, which is a decent shock and performed really well on the test ride. However, the Rise has a higher end DPX2 factory shock, and this was really supple and smooth and gave the bike a really natural feel. That's another point to the Rise. Let's talk about a big element of any e-bike, the battery. The Levo SL comes with a 320 watt-hour battery, and the Rise comes with a 360 watt-hour, which may help explain why the Rise was that little bit heavier on our way in. Regardless of weight though, in this case bigger is better, so that's a point to the Rise. Both bikes have the ability to attach an optional range extender. The Levo SL has the option of a 160 watt-hour extender, whereas the Rise can be extended by 252 watt-hours, which will give you a total of 612 watt-hours, the equivalent of a full-fat e-bike. So that's a point to the Rise. Okay, now on to the motor. Probably the most important part of an e-bike. The Specialized comes with a Specialized SL 1.1 motor that produces 35 Newton meters of torque. And the Rise has the new modified Shimano EP8 RS motor that produces a maximum of 60 Newton meters of torque. With the Specialized, I noticed that I definitely had to work harder on the climbs, as the motor was less powerful. However, this means that your battery is probably going to last a little longer. Both bikes gave me enough power and assistance to last for a full day of biking around my local bike park without running out. I have heard reports of a rattle on the EP8 motor, and I've seen this firsthand on the Commensal Meta Power XX, which I will do a video on in the future. But I never experienced this on the Rise. Maybe the RS has fixed it? Interestingly, I found the motor on the Levo SL to be the noisier of the two and had a less natural feeling, particularly when disengaging from pedalling. That's a point to the Rise. On to another important element of an e-bike, and that's the brakes. The Turbo Levo SL comes with SRAM G2 RSC, which are pretty decent brakes and give lots of stopping power. However, the Shimano XTR brakes on the Rise just felt more powerful and had a really nice biting point that gave me a lot of confidence. That's another point to the rise. Onto gears. The Levo SL comes with a SRAM GX Eagle 12-speed setup, which shifted nice and smooth. And I am a fan of SRAM. However, the 12-speed Shimano XTR setup on the rise was even better and smoother. That's a point to the rise. The Turbo Levo SL comes with Roval Traverse carbon 29er wheels, which are nice and stiff and are capable of taking a beating. And I can confirm that after I rode them initially with nearly every spoke loose and they didn't break. On the rise you have a race face turbine or 30 29s, which aren't bad, but I prefer the carbon wheels on the Specialized, and with the matching decals they just looked badass. That's a point to the Turbo Levo SL. In terms of rubber, the Specialized comes with Butcher 2.3 and Eliminator 2.3, and the rise comes with a Maxxis Recon 2.4 and Dissector 2.4. But the rise I rode had a DHF 2.5 on the front. If I did own either of these bikes, I'd definitely change out the tyres for at least 2.5s on the front and 2.4s on the rear. I think I'd stick a Michelin E Wild 2.6 on the front actually, as it's one of my favourite tyres at the moment, and I'm even running this on my Orbea Rallon. We'll call that round a draw, with 0 points awarded. Onto the dropper. The Turbo Levo has an X-Fusion Manic seat post and it worked fine. However, the Orbea Rise has a Fox transfer factory with Kashima coating, and this was super smooth and looked cool as it matched the rest of the Kashima on the Rise. I know it's a small thing, but the bike has to look good, so that's a point to the Rise. Now, on to geometry. The Turbo Levo SL is modelled very much on the stump jumper, which has a really nice modern geometry with a short chainstay, which made the bike quite manoeuvrable but still gave me confidence to push the bike. It felt like it could tackle almost anything, and with an upgrade to the forks there is not much I'd be afraid to take on with this bike. Whereas the Rise has a slacker head angle and longer chainstay, which is closer to the geometry on the Occam. As I'm used to riding the Rallon with 160mm travel on the rear, I just found the 140mm on the Rise a bit limiting, particularly when things got a bit rougher. So that's a point to the Specialized. In terms of handling, I found the Specialized to give me more confidence, and this may well be due to the size of the bike I test rode. The Specialized was a medium and the Rise was a size large, and the large felt a little too big for me to properly loosen up and move around the bike on. It may be a personal thing, but I'm going to have to give a point to the Levo SL here. Now, on to the most important element of any bike, fun. I have to say I had so much fun on both these bikes. Both are great poppy bikes and can jump really well as get you back up to the top again. When you're used to an e-bike being heavy, these are an unbelievable surprise in that they feel like a normal bike on the trail, and you don't have to adapt your riding style to have a lot of fun on them. We'll call this one a draw with a point apiece, as I had so much fun. Looks. Okay, call me shallow, but it is an important part of buying a bike. Both are incredible looking bikes, with sleek lines and cool colours. The Rise does allow you to customise the colours with the Mayo program, and you can make your bike really personal. But saying that, I really like the available colours in the Turbo Levo SL. And the Turbo Levo SL comes with a really neat multi-tool integrated into the stem, which is super handy. So I'll have to give 1 point apiece here. On to warranty. Another important factor to consider when buying a new bike, particularly an e-bike, as there are more things that can go wrong. Specialized offer an amazing 4-year warranty, whereas the Orbea offers a 2-year warranty, so that's a definite point to the Levo SL. Lastly, on to price. The Levo SL Expert Carbon comes in at £7,500, which currently works out at €8,700. And the Rise M Team comes in at €9,300. Not exactly pocket change for either bike, but both do come in lower spec models at cheaper price points. But for this comparison, the point has to go to the Specialized. So it was a close match, and the Orbea just about wins it on points. But if you offered me either of these amazing bikes tomorrow, I'd be more than happy with either one. In conclusion, for me, I found the Rise better on the ups, but the Levo SL better on the downs. So if it was my own money I was spending, then I'd probably go for the Specialized. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to see more of this content, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, leave them below and I'll get back to you as I read all the comments. Thanks again, take care, and hopefully see you in the next video.